Hi, I'm Sarah Hayes. I'm your champion of enthusiasm at She Tries, and I'm here to talk to you today about triathlon hacks, tips and tricks to make your triathlon training and triathlon day a success. These come from Angie and me, and we hope that you find them helpful. So She Tries was started in 2015 with our first event in 2016 in Ion in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and we grew in 2017 to have Carnes Crossroads start in Somerville, and we've loved serving the women of the Lowcountry and those who come to visit us, seeing our events grow, and we hope to see you cross one of our finish lines soon. So thanks for joining me today. One of the best investments that I recommend is triathlon clothing. So whether you opt for two pieces like a triathlon top and triathlon shorts, or one piece like what we have with She Tries. This is a short sleeve version. We also have a sleeveless version, and these are made to swim, bike, and run in, so they can get wet and then they dry quickly. There's not a lot of padding in this, so you're not going to be running with like a diaper, and they are made to keep your transition smooth and just help you go from one sport to the next without any additional changes or clothing needed. So a two-piece option would be like a sleeveless tri-top and shorts. That can be more versatile in that you can wear those shorts for just any old run or bike ride and pair it with a cycling jersey if you'd like. All of those are handy with two pieces. I just find the one piece is more comfortable. So if it's in your budget to opt for something to train in and something to wear on triathlon day, go for that. But just a really good option. Your probably third least best, but still okay option is to go in a bathing suit and throw on a pair of shorts after the swim. You're not going to be changing in transition. Like you're not going to be coming out of a bathing suit and into clothing. You're going to need to just either not add clothes or throw on some running shorts. So the only issue with running shorts on the bike portion of your triathlon is sometimes that can be really uncomfortable on a bike in shorter shorts. So I just recommend that you practice whatever you plan to swim, bike, and run in. Practice that and make sure those shorts are comfortable for both the bike and the run if that's the plan that you're going with. You will see all sorts of triathlon clothing on the morning of your event at She Tries. So you're in good company. We're just trying to let you know like what works the best for us. So if we want to start with the swim, it's the first event of triathlon. One of the most important things, Angie and I both do this all the time for basically any swim event, but especially triathlon, is two pairs of goggles. So here I have a tinted pair and a non-tinted pair. Regardless of whether one's tinted or not, it's always best to have two pairs of goggles because these nose bridges wear out and the straps wear out. And if you've had these for a few years, or you've borrowed them from someone who's had them a few years, there's a chance these straps can break. And it never fails. It's the day of your triathlon. So if you have a backup pair, there's no need to panic. You'll have already something to use and you can just go right to your swim. The tinted pair help obviously with sunshine, and the clear pair are great for overcast days, not needing to make your visibility darker. I highly recommend a swim cap. You'll get one in your race packet. You don't have to wear ours, but these are nice quality and Angie and I use them throughout the year, so I like them. Shout out to Cruise Subaru, our title sponsor, who's been with us for a few years now. We're very grateful for their support. So you'll get one of these, and I recommend practicing with it if you can, or using what you feel most comfortable in for that. One other thing I wanted to let you know that no one told me for my triathlon, my very first triathlon, was that it can be normal to experience a level of panic in the swim. Even if you're an experienced swimmer, you've been training for 8, 6, 12 weeks, sometimes the adrenaline with the nerves, with just your heart rate getting up starting a triathlon, can make you just have a moment of panic in the water. And I didn't know that that was normal. So then in my first triathlon, I sort of panicked about the panic, and I didn't need to, because it just takes a minute. You just need to know that this is that moment. Take a minute for yourself, slow your breathing down, slow your strokes down. In She Tries, you're able to hang on to the end of the pool and take a breather. So if you need to do that for yourself, it's totally normal, totally okay. Somebody might pass you, you might pass somebody who's going through that sort of moment. Just know that it happens, even to experienced triathletes. And if it happens to you, just say to yourself, oh, this is what Sarah was talking about in that video, and I just need to take a minute, and then I'll be fine. And I promise you, it will pass, and you will get onto your swim, and it will be fine. So moving from swim to bike, one of the things in your bike training that I highly recommend is learning how to change your tire. So your bike shops, if you're local here, Spoke Works in Somerville, Blue Sky and Trek in Mount Pleasant and Charleston, those are going to be great places to get educated on how to change your tire. And one of the tricks that's Angie's go-to is to have a dollar bill that you carry with you on your training rides in like a bike bag, to help patch up a hole in your tube if you get one. Now, if you don't know what a hole in your tube means, then you need to go to your bike shop and you need to learn how to change your tire, so you can learn the parts of it and you can change it should you be on a training ride and need it. For our She Tries event, we do have support, SAG sponsored by Spoke Works or Trek, depending on the event, and they will help you with that either before the triathlon or during. So, but it's just good to have that knowledge. The one hack I will tell you, every time you ride your bike, all your training rides, on the morning of your triathlon, pump up your tires. So on your tire, you will see some writing, and there's a bunch of different writing, but at some point it will give you a range of PSI, and those are the numbers you're shooting for when you're pumping up your tire. It has a gauge with numbers on it. You're going to match what you're pumping it to the range that's on your tire, and that is a really good way to help you avoid flat tires on your training rides, because underinflated tires can often lead to flat tires. That also happened in my first triathlon, so don't make my mistake. The other thing to keep in mind, especially on your triathlon day, is when you're getting everything set up in transition, is to put your bike in an easy gear. So you might, by the end of your ride, be in a harder gear because you're feeling it, you're in the groove and you're going speedy and you want to like go faster, and that's great, but you don't want to start your bike portion in that gear. You're going to have adrenaline from finishing your swim, from running out of transition with your bike and your helmet, and you're going to need to start a little easy to get those legs spinning up and used to the bike. So put it in an easy gear, not the easiest gear, but a couple of gears easier than you think you're going to finish in, so that you can get started quicker and more comfortably on that bike portion. Now, the last thing on the bike that I will tell you is I always wear glasses, even if it's not sunny. These are Tifosi. They're fairly cheap when it comes to sunglasses. You can get these locally. You can also get these online. It doesn't matter what kind of sunglasses, but not just to protect you from the sun, but to protect you from any sort of debris, like rocks coming up from other cyclists or bugs coming at you because you're in the South and there's lots of bugs and mosquitoes. These help keep those things out of your eyes. So I wear them on the bike portion and the run. Highly recommend you do too. That's my tip for that. Now, talking about the run, there's a few things that will make the run portion of your triathlon easier, and I recommend using during your training. One of those is these lock laces. These are my husband's shoes, by the way, and my feet are not this big. But these are lock laces. You can see you don't tie them. You have them set to a tension that is similar to how you would run in them if you had regular laces. And you can get these at your running stores. You can get them online. There's several different brands. We are not brand specific, but get them and train with them. It takes way less time to put your shoes on in transition, and you would be surprised how hard it is to tie your shoes when you have adrenaline going and you're going from either swim to bike or bike to run and you're trying to tie shoes. It's just way harder than it should be. And these elastic laces help save that time and that mental stress. So highly recommend those. I also prefer to run in a Dryfit cap like this. So it's a bit smaller than a hat like this. It fits a little more snug and still protects your face, fits over your hair easily, and it dries quickly. So either with hair still wet from the swim, or if it's raining, or if you are super sweaty, this hat's gonna dry quickly while you're running, and I love to run in these. But I also recommend, if you don't like the caps, to run in a visor. So if you don't like to run in sunglasses or they get really foggy, this is a nice thing to use to still keep your eyes shady. I will wear a visor with sunglasses. And just from my perspective, your hair looks pretty silly after swimming and biking, and not that that's what you care about on the day of your event, but these hats help cover that up. So these to me are a little too bulky to run in, and they but to each their own. I would just wear a hat or a visor, protect your face, protect your eyes, cover up that hair, and it'll make it a nice run for you. The other thing I would recommend is a race belt. So we sell these also on our website at She Tries. This is from one of our local shops, Blue Sky, but you can attach your bib to these race belts either with these snaps that come off, and you can just snap the paper in between, or if there's holes in the bib, you push this little string through there and then close this little tab over it, and then it goes around your waist. And it's a great time saver, but also a great clothing saver, because you're not putting safety pins through your triathlon gear, either your tank top or your bathing suit or your tri-top. So I love these for that. You really only need it for the run. Some people wear it on the bike, but just make sure you grab it on the run, and you can be pulling this over your head as you run out of transition. So it's just a really easy piece of gear, and you can use this for any of the running races that you sign up for during your training season, outside of your triathlon season. You can use this. It has so many uses, and some of them even hold nutrition. So if that's something that's important to you, highly recommend these. And also, I would recommend having an extra goo and transition. So I use goo and I use Gatorade in my bottle, but you use whatever works for you. But having an extra one just in case you're feeling a bit low after one of the legs of the triathlon, that can be a great pick-me-up, and you're not going to be thinking about that as much, as you're going through the next portion of your triathlon. So in transition at She Tries, we are pretty flexible in how you want to set up your space. So there are some events that are very rigid in what you're allowed to have in there and how much space you can take up. And while we don't want you to bring a whole suitcase and unpack that in transition, we do allow you to do things like decorate your spot on the transition rack if you want to put a balloon or something to help you remember where your spot is, because you're a little disorienting coming in from either the swim or the bike and trying to remember where exactly your spot is. Something like the shiny balloon might help. Or another idea, some women like to pack everything in a triathlon bag or a reusable shopping bag. Some women like to put everything in a large bucket, like what you can get from Lowe's, and then they bring that with them, set up their transition, and sit on the bucket to put their shoes on in transition. totally fine with She Tries. We welcome it. Go for it. Do whatever makes your transition makes it more comfortable for you and able to get to the next spot. Just be aware of everyone's space and try not to take up like 3 different spots when you're sitting on your bucket to do that. Let's see. A great idea for the night before and the morning of is a checklist. So if you participate in Try It for Life, you might have one of these, and there's a picture of transition here along with a checklist on the back. We at She Tries also have a checklist. If you go to About She Tries, and you can look at a checklist from the drop down menu there, it will give you a checklist for training as well as a checklist for the day of your triathlon. And it's just great to have something you can check off, because it's often easy to forget something that's maybe you just haven't thought about in the last couple of days, and then you get there race morning and you're like, oh no, I forgot my goggles, and then it makes for a bit of stress. So the checklist is a great way to avoid that stress. Know what you need, get it all packed the night before. I even recommend practicing how you're going to lay out your transition the night before you pack it all up. That way you make sure you have everything and you kind of get that practice of laying it out there. One thing that I will always keep in transition and use before the triathlon starts is Body Glide. There are a few different brands of AntiChafe products, and this is just what I use, but highly recommend it. No matter what you're wearing, after you've swam, biked, and run, there's bound to be some chafing somewhere. So I tend to put it kind of here where my sports bra meets my underarm. Also at the base of my sports bra. I put it in my bikini area, and I put it on my heels and anywhere that my shoe might rub on my foot. So you can also use Vaseline. You can also use baby powder in your shoes. But this is a great product. If you're in a pinch and you can't find it, you can also use a stick of deodorant. But I highly recommend this, and you can get it anywhere at your running stores and online. So any sort of anti-chafe product is a great idea to use. You'll probably want it while you're training, and you can use it for running. I mean, you can use it for all your sports activities. So I can't imagine life without it. So that is, a good idea of what you're going to need in transition. Some other hacks that Angie and I highly recommend: double braiding your hair. So I usually do 2 down the back, and it's best if you can find somebody to help you do it, but if you can do your own, that's fine too. The reason for that is the swim cap fits over that, and you can tuck the braids in. Your bike helmet will fit over that, and your run hats will fit right over that. So you're not worried about a ponytail that's bulging out and preventing your helmet from going on or making your swim cap super tight. And it helps keep, the tangles at bay. I mean, it's just the easiest hairstyle to go with. So highly recommend hair braiding. And I think I'm a big fan of, the karma that comes from good branding. So your She Tries, Try It for Life, any of these organizations that mean something to you, I recommend wear it, because it just brings that good power feeling to you on race day, and you just can't beat that. So definitely wear that gear if you have it. One of the other questions we always get is about nutrition, and it's a little difficult to tell somebody the exact thing to do, but to give an overview for what works for us and what might work for you and what you should practice with. The night before, I recommend a good lean protein, easy carb dinner, something like grilled chicken and brown rice. I mean, it's not super exciting, but it's not going to upset your stomach, and it'll give you that good base for the next day. And then on the morning of your triathlon, I recommend, for me, I do oatmeal and Greek yogurt. So again, I have a good protein and healthy carb without a lot of fiber, or some fiber, but not a lot of stuff for the body to process in those hours leading up to the triathlon. So I recommend doing that like 2 hours before your event. And then at the event, I tend to have either water or Gatorade in my bottle on my bike. The bike is a great place to get nutrition in so that you can cool yourself down, give yourself some energy after that swim so that you have energy going into your run. You're on that bike for a while, so use that to get the nutrition in. Or you could do water and like a goo, whatever works best for you. These goos are supposed to be easily digested. You're not chewing. They go, for some people that like them, they go down really easy. And then I keep this also for the run just in case. But I would practice with this and make sure that they don't upset your stomach, or you are used to drinking and getting in the nutrition while you're on your bikes. It's really important to do, especially in Charleston heat if you're coming to one of our events. So I guess some of the things not to do. You don't have to have a brand new expensive bike for your very first triathlon. So we recommend getting a bike from a friend, borrowing, getting a used bike, make sure it's tuned up, make sure it fits you, but don't feel like you have to go buy the latest, greatest, newest thing for a sport that you're still trying out. So we want you to feel comfortable in what you're spending money on, and especially in your first triathlon season, if that's what it is for you. But if you do need new bikes, there are great shops here, and we can recommend some places to go to do that. And the most common advice is to not try new things on triathlon day. So if you have a brand new kit, you might want to practice in that before you wear it to your triathlon. Maybe a new food plan or new nutrition. Probably don't want to wait until the day of your triathlon to try that. How about go for a run or a bike ride at least in the couple of weeks leading up, if not well before that, to make sure it agrees with your body and that you feel good when you're doing it. So those are the biggest don't do's. Also, don't take up all the space in transition. Make sure you have room for others, and have fun. Just enjoy it. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy what you've put in the effort to do, that you are getting up and getting out there. Maybe it's trying something out of your comfort zone, or maybe you're coming to Charleston for the first time and giving it a shot. So I hope this helps. I hope you enjoy the day. Please feel free to put questions in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them and give you whatever advice Angie and I have for that. And if we don't have the answer, we'll find it out for you. So enjoy the training, and we'll see you soon.